Well, I wouldn't be here today without the lessons of those four people. There's many others who I've borrowed from liberally. For the past few years, I've had the pleasure of working with Beth Phillips as the assistant advisor in the program. She's done a great job of helping the program expand and as another person for the kids to bounce ideas off of in the room. From Beth, I mostly mooch her time, and a lot of it, as I am constantly coming up with ideas, mostly ridiculous ones, to help the program get better and further them, and she listens to me and serves as a good funnel for most of my bad ones. My principal's here today. Yeah, she's that principal. She is. She's a real deal. She's one of those that cares about not only her students, but her staff as well. Dr. Darlene Jones. I don't even want to know how many IOUs I've given to her since day one on the job. But what I can tell you, though, is that we all want to work for that one principal someday. That one principal who, has high expectations for us and wants nothing but the best out of us. She truly is that principal and someone I consider to be a great friend. It was her giving me a shot early on. There have been many people like that. I remember coming home one day in 2005, and sometimes you just remember things. I came home and I got the answering machine and I picked it up, and there was this message on there from Linda Putney. And Linda Putney was asking me on the answering machine. She said, "Hey, Aaron, I'd like for you to come to Manhattan, Kansas, and I want you to teach at a workshop at the Advisors Institute with Jack Kennedy." Now, at the time, and who we kidding, today even, I'd just like to sit and learn from Jack for a few days and take a class of his. I actually called Linda back and said the message did not come through the answering machine and needed her to repeat that she actually wanted me to teach with Jack for a few days. Well, she did, and I said yes. I didn't play hard to get. I don't know if she even got the question out before I said yes. But I showed up that week, and Jack was great. And at the end of the week, patted me on the back and said, "Oh, it was a great week, Aaron. Thanks for everything you did." I remember that week a little differently. I remember just sitting there the whole time by him, mooching the hell out of everything that guy was saying. I student taught in Iowa with Gary Lindsay. I did a lot of mooching there, too. One of the things I mooch from Gary that I'm most appreciative of is his personal philosophy of, "This too shall pass." Gary, I don't know if you know him, but he never gets too worked up about anything. He realizes that with this job, there are some definite highs and some pretty low lows some days. And he realizes that if you're going to be in this for the long haul, you need to stay even keel with where you're going. It's one of those mooch points that I'm most thankful for. It's his belief in me from early on that I'm more appreciative of than I can ever tell him. It's much of the same that I felt the last couple years from Mark Newton and Steve O'Donohue with the work we've done with Think SJI. They've just reinforced my philosophy that I believed in, that you need to give people a chance to step up and let them do things. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about another group of people as well, those who I've learned the most from, the students I've crossed paths with for the last 14 years, a few of whom are able to be here today. They've taught me you can find a job that you love getting up for each day. I watch them see each other teach. I watch how they learn from one another. I watch them collaborate. I watch them teach me. And I mooch from them constantly. All those great things that they have that have made me a better teacher and that made my program better in the process. They've also made me be a better father to my two kids. Kane, who's 1.5, and Michaela, who's 4.5, who are not here today. They're actually back home in Iowa with their other grandparents, mooching off of them. You see, this mooching thing's a learned behavior. It's all these experiences and people I've encountered over the past years that really have made me who I am. I love learning. I love trying to dissect the hows and figure out the whys, and I think it's this constant mooching that's made me an effective teacher most days in the classroom. While students are my focus, I've worked to pay forward some of this insanely ridiculous mooching tab that I've racked up over the years. It's been my philosophy with JEAdigitalmedia.org and what we've been doing with Think SJI. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics here. You can go to thinksji.org to kind of find it out. But the brief note is we've been working to make a grassroots effort to get local advisors to connect with one another to help one another out, to make a difference, to ask for a hand or to lend one. You know, for me, I was fortunate. I was not too proud to mooch. I was not too proud to ask questions of those around me. I had a solid foundation to build on, and I had a good background of knowledge, and I knew where to go for help. If you're sitting out there right now, feel like you're treading water, what you need to know is that there is this great group of advisors in this room ready and willing to help, and all you need to do is ask. If you can't find somebody, find me, and I'll contact you on, and I'll hook you up. And on the other side of this thing, you veteran advisors, you need to seek out those around you and lend a hand. Send an email. Offer to drop by somebody's school. Share one of your lessons. Share a handout. Ask someone near you what help they need, and then make sure you follow up with that help. You know, your action or inaction is going to have a direct impact on those around you. And we are all safer and stronger if those around us are safe and strong. We've all been given something along the way. Don't we owe it to pay forward a little bit? I mean, I'm going to be paying forward well into retirement, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to make a dent in the tab I've racked up with my mom or Kate. Paying forward all these mooch points is tough. Believe me, I get it. We don't have the time. We can't imagine adding one more thing onto our plate. Maybe we just don't even feel like, you know, we want the help, but we don't even know where to start to get the help, that we don't even know where the question is. Maybe we don't know how to start the conversation. Maybe we need a spark. And that's why I'm here today. I'm hoping to offer, to provide a spark for you all. I've decided to create a spark that I hope is going to open up dialogue and discussion and hopefully some action by all of us. It's something that I plan to continue for some time as a side project because to me, it's just that important. The idea is pretty simple. Take a challenge, stick with it for a reasonable amount of time, put yourself and others in a better place. I call it the next 26. Now, the idea and the concept here, it's nothing new. It's all stuff I've mooched off a million other great ideas that are out there. I got to keep true to form, don't I? But the idea is to issue some challenges in a series of 26. Now, this might be 26 weeks. It might be 26 days. It might be 26 minutes. Heck, it could even be 26 seconds. Depends on the challenge. Depends on what I'm in the mood for. But my goals are pretty simple, and I got them twofold, okay? One, I want it to be things that engage advisors in conversation, specifically advisors on a local level, those who have been around for a while and those who are new. And the second thing I wanted to do is I wanted to further scholastic journalism. And as I was trying to figure out, I had the idea for this, I was trying to figure out like what is the best way for me to issue these challenges. Well, I did it in the only way I really know how. I built another website. So today I launch thenext26.com. It's a site that I am hoping is going to be a great challenge for advisors to pick up and take up, and something that I hope starts a conversation off for all of us today and well into the future. Now, while its roots are many different places, for me the big idea for this weeks ago came back for something that really in my 5th year of teaching or so I needed to take care of. Now, I'll spare you with all the details, but I was a pretty crappy teacher of editors. I had very high expectations for them. I asked a lot out of them, and I did absolutely nothing to train them. I realized after a while it wasn't them that were the problem, it was me. And so what I decided to do was I decided to create a series of tips, email tips that I sent out to them over the course of the first 5 or 6 weeks of school, to share with them tips that I thought were beneficial to them to be editors in their spots. Now these dealt with things ranging from working with me, working with members of the staffs, to things just simply like managing a room or leading by example. The tips went over so well, I began sharing them at workshops and presentations after that first year, and I've shared them with dozens of advisors and students around the country, and maybe even you. I decided it was going to be the first thing that I was going to populate this site with. And so the first thing that we have up there in full, the first challenge that is archived, so to speak, and ready to go, are 26 tips that you can use to share with your advisor or your editors back home to make them be better leaders in the classroom. Now, I explain on the website a little bit about my reasons behind it. I give practical applications and tips on how you can take these and adapt them to your classroom. And then beneath that, I give 26 tips that you can use. 3 of them I've actually printed in full. I didn't put them all on there in full. If you want them, you just need to email me and I'll give them all to you. But most of them involve Star Wars and Iowa Hawkeye stuff. So I realize that you probably could see a few of them and get the idea, but copying them verbatim might be a little strange coming from you. I didn't think that was enough, though, and so I decided to start issuing my first challenge today. And the first challenge that we are going to be rolling on starts today that I launched was talking about recruiting. Recruiting is something that really does impact us all. It impacts us all now. I mean, it's something we need to be thinking about right now if we're looking to recruit for next year. It's tough. You know, no longer if you build it, they will come. That doesn't apply in our journalism programs anywhere. We're competing with AP classes. We're competing with programs being cut. We're competing with being just another elective out there that kids have to pick from in schedules that are increasingly being overloaded. Recruiting is something we all need to be dealing with. And no longer can we just stick flyers up around the halls to say, hey, come take a journalism class. It's not going to cut it. We need to take a multi-pronged, multifaceted approach to get kids in our program and to build those programs and to keep our program strong and those programs around us strong. I've launched the first tip that's up there today. I'll be adding tips for the next 25 days, and there'll be 26 things that you'll have at the end of the time that you can use in your room and in rooms around you. You know, this site isn't just about me, though. I mean, I hope if you know me, you know the site's not about me. It's a complete 180 from what I try to do. The site is ours. You know, the site is built because this is to simply start a conversation. I don't have all the best editor tips. I mean, heck, the 26 I put up there, some years I don't even believe in them, okay? And, I mean, it depends on the year. It depends on the kids that we got in the room. I don't have the best ideas to bring kids into my program. Can I come up with 26? Yeah, I can come up with 26. Some of them are a little ridiculous, but I have 26 that I'm going to be rolling out. I'll start the conversation, but what I'm looking for is for you guys to help me continue it. I want you to add your comments and your conversation to the blog as well to continue editor tips that you have. What do you do in your rooms that we can use to point advisors to on the listserv and in the communities around us to help editors around us? What can you do to add recruitment ideas? What do you do in your program to help us? We're pulling from different pools of kids. We can share our ideas here, people. Okay? You know, if we want to keep our program strong, we need to make sure programs everywhere are strong. While individually, that might be a daunting task, together we can make a difference, and we owe it to those who have helped us get here to help those around us. I challenge you to follow me for the next 26 days as I talk recruiting. I challenge you to add your thoughts and your comments and your conversation to the blog. I challenge you to reach out to someone back home and begin a discussion that is going to open up a dialogue that you can both use and will both help you in the long run. Use the next 26 as a conversation starter. Use it as your spark. Ask for help. Be a mooch. Seek others out. Pay forward some of those mooch point IOUs. I hope you take the challenge, and I look forward to continuing the conversation the next 26 and the 26 after that. Thank you.